Are we live? It's working. Yes, I think we are. Yes, it works. All right. Welcome back, my friends. Good to see you all. Episode number 90. Ooh, 90 today. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back on a beautiful Wednesday. Sorry that I couldn't come yesterday. I had some technical difficulties. I had a network outage in Bali here in my area, unfortunately. What a mess. What a mess. But here we are. Hope you guys are doing well, man. Let's see what we have with us in the chat today. We have a lot of things to cover. Gold is pushing up higher. We love to see gold pushing up higher. We're going to talk about that here. I can see some good setup in a little retracement. Let's see if we can get something like that here. That would be amazing. Hope you guys are doing fantastic here. Today is a very important day. Once again, we have what we call the CPI, my friend. Yes, sir. You ready for the CPI? CPI coming today or tomorrow, depending on where you're at. Okay? Yes. CPI, baby. It's going to come. We have to pay attention to this. Always when you know the NFP has been done, the CPI is pretty much next. As you already know that, okay? Let's see where the videos now in the chat. Let me see here. Manovic, my friend, how you doing? Good to see you. Ivy, good morning. As always, Drew, how are you? Good to see you. Crow, good to see you, my friend. Derek, Nick, CAK, Bradley, yes. Fuji, yes. Good to see you. M2 Forex, my man. How are you doing? Good to see you. TC Island, my friend. How are you? Ricky says on a losing streak since the pump. Oh, really? Let's figure that out. Let's figure that one out then. Satish, good to see you, my man. How are you? Hamza, yes, of course. How are you, man? Awesome. Okay. Let's make it happen, guys. A lot of things to cover. The gold is pushing and breaking out of this range, out of this balanced area here. The dollar is still pretty much flat, hanging around. We have to talk about yesterday's long there. Was super clean. Anyways, we're probably going to look for longs at this current moment here. Let's give it some time, but let's see. All right. Looking forward to today's session. Let's make it work and make it an epic day. right. Back to gold, back to work. Yesterday, network outage. Couldn't stream, man. I was there ready to rock. Couldn't stream. Even though yesterday's session was pretty good overall, I must say, there was something happening. Gold was dropping kind of hard after 10 p.m. EST, all the way back to the previous range, and then a bounce, and now we're seeing an absorption, and now we're breaking out of a range again. That is relatively still strong. There's still a lot of support here, okay? We'll give it a go. We'll talk about it in a second, but let's do a little bit breakdown. I'm gonna remove everything, make sure everything is as clean as it can get here. Today is the CPI. All right, last week we had the NFP. Look at that. This was that 4-hour NFP candle right there. You can see that right there, 74,000 contracts. NFP, most of the volume in that candle was traded right there, the 14,000. You see that? So we're gonna mark out a little box there. Okay, we're gonna turn it into a little box right there. Okay, look at what happened if you look at it right now. Initially broke below, but then we had the closure, and then it turned immediately into support yesterday right there. So that is still the candle. We're trading above the NFP point of control. Okay, that is relatively still bullish right now at this current moment here. Okay, so we're trading above the NFP candle, which is important. The CPI is coming now. The expectation is lower than the previous lower inflation data. That's going to be interesting if that actually comes out lower as well in comparison with that really bad labor data. Then there is just simply no reason to increase interest rates. I guess if inflation is coming down, if the labor data is really bad, yeah, then lowering the interest rates or no increase of interest rates. Let's put it this way. No increase of interest rates. That could benefit gold. Definitely not the dollar. That's for sure. Okay? Anyways, let's talk about gold right now. We just broke above the VWAP. So we're going to pull back into the range, I think, very soon. So I think it will be very interesting to watch and look for setups. But in the meantime, let's mark out a little bit of structure on the higher time frame. Because right now, at the moment, on the daily, you can already see it right here. Maybe not. But let me help you out here. On the daily time frame, we are tapping into a higher time frame supply zone. Very clear, actually. Look at that, right? Daily supply. That is an extremely important level right there to watch. Right now, we are facing some daily resistance. Of course, we are back at that major zone that we talked about beforehand. Right, that major resistance here from the lows, from the highs. We tapped into it many times before. We know how important this level is, the 4,400. Okay. However, there's one thing that I've learned. When we are in an aggressive push to the upside here, I will be very careful with trying to predict the top, because you don't know how long this accumulation took place. There's a reason why we accumulated here for around, what, almost 2 months, right? Before breaking out to the upside here. And then when price goes, it goes. And then it's easy to try to short the top, but it's also easy to get trapped into your shorts as well here, as the trend itself, the intraday, is just respected, okay? So this is what you can see right here. We had a range, and we had a breakout, okay? And then we had a breakout. We had a range, we had a breakout, we had a range, we had a breakout. And right now, at the moment, we're retesting the range, okay? We're retesting this area right here. You can actually see this right there here. So if we take now the high, because we tapped into the daily supply zone right there, okay? We tapped into that. And then price came back, okay? Let's go to the 15-minute time frame. Then you can see that we tapped into an area of balance, right? We tapped into an area of balance right there. And you can simply see at the moment we tapped into that area of balance. If the volume profile works, yes, it does. We tapped into the, let me know what level this is right there. The value area high. You see that? Tapped into the value area high right there. Of course, in alignment with a low volume node sitting right below that. You can actually see that right there. And that was actually already the moment, right, where we go from balance to an imbalance, and we test the fair value of the previous breakout. And then price came back up again. All right, look at that. This was actually very nice. It was a big move, 460 pips, almost 500 pips to the upside. And then price came back down again. It retested the same levels. And now we're creating kind of some sort of range. And now we're trying to break out of this smaller range here. So we can't really be bearish here. Cannot be bearish here. Still, at this current moment right now, we are respecting that area. And if you zoom out, actually, again, then it's pretty much also a 4-hour in a month zone, right? It's holding up in 4-hour in a month, but it's getting rejected from daily supply. But the trend is still pushing at this current moment. The intraday is still pushing higher. I would be very careful with shorting right there. Trying to predict the top when the trend is getting respected every single time, okay? So it's either long or nothing for me right now at the moment. Just keeping a very close eye on everything that we're doing right here and seeing if you can actually trying to still continue to long until we're proven otherwise, I would say. Until we're proven to be, you know, completely wrong, or if price really breaks below some lows here, right? Really start breaking structure and then actually go from there. That is that, all right? That is that. I think that is the best way to do it right now at the moment here. I like how gold was reacting overall. So let's take now again, do the same thing, do something different here. We are operating inside of the high and low of yesterday, okay? And I hope you guys can see right there that when price steps into that, then we have, of course, the left to the right. We take the volume profile here. So if you're new to the volume profile, you click on this one right there. It's called volume based. Fixes volume profile. You tap into that from the left to the right, and it starts at 6 p.m. EST, New York time, to 6 p.m. And there we go. Now we're dealing with the point of control. Are we trading above or are we trading below the point of control right now? Let me know. But this is what we call the previous daily point of control. Okay, we're above the area where yesterday the most volume has been traded. Okay, and at this current moment we are now finding a little bit of resistance, but you can see that we're holding above it. Okay, if you want to learn about the previous daily point of control, you want to learn about everything in regards to the volume profile, I highly recommend you to read my book or to watch my videos on Telegram. Okay, I shared with you guys three videos, sorry, in the Telegram community right there, okay? Which allows you to at least understand how we mark out the volume profile and why. It gives you a good foundation. These are private videos, okay? I think it will help you tremendously by understanding how to use it. And you have also a book that you can download right there. You go to volume analysis, you go to the volume profile. And for today, we're gonna talk about the daily volume profile right there, okay? The daily on page number 45. You can find it right there. But anyways, we broke out of it. We're trading above this. So with this in mind of us respecting this trend, breaking above the previous daily point of control, I do not see any reason, okay, to short gold at this current moment. Even though we are at higher time frame resistance at the top here, I think we are not there yet, okay? So what can we do? We can use a new range that we have created right there as well here. We love the volume profile. We want to potentially retest the fair value of this area. And I actually would love to see price holding up, pulling back and tapping into the previous daily point of control for longs. And yeah, targeting obviously the highs, which is the value area high of yesterday, pretty much. That is the previous daily value area high. We're still operating in fair value, right? Of yesterday. We have now broken the highs of yesterday, the lows of yesterday. We are in the middle of it, but the 70% of the volume that was traded there is actually in between this area and this area. And now that we break above the point of control, we could turn that into support and then maybe target like the 4400 again. I would be looking at something like that. That is something that I would love to witness right now at the moment here. Let's see if we can do that. Let's see if we can actually break above this and then go from there. Clearly, we have some resistance there, so we cannot enter in longs now. Okay, this is from the New York session yesterday. We have to wait for the pullback first and see if we could actually come back a little bit and maybe test even the how do we call that? The VWAP. Where's the VWAP? We're clearly above the VWAP. Yes, we should be. Let me see if I'm correct. Yeah, we are above the VWAP right there. Okay. We probably have to retest this as well. So a little bit of patience. I would love to see a little bit of a pullback here. And let's see if we can target the 4400 today. That would be nice. Okay, that will be amazing if we can do that. Yes, sir. Anything else I wanted to share before we kick off the entries? Yeah, I think so, right? I think you have to watch this. What about the futures POC? Yeah, it's actually sitting right where we are getting rejected from. This is what we're talking about. I look at the volume profile here. Oh, sorry, the footprint chart. You can actually see that this is a significant amount of volume traded. This is why you'll find some resistance there right now at the moment. Okay? But that's why I'm not longing right now into resistance. Kind of hidden resistance. But I'm looking mainly, okay, the product control is one layer, but the range that we're seeing right there. Okay, we had the range, we had the breakout, we're getting respected there. We're pulling back, respecting it. I'm looking for something like another retracement into the fair value. And then the 4400 is something I would target. And then right there, I would take profits. Okay, because we are a little bit overextended, that's for sure. But I think the 4400 is a reachable target today. But yeah, this is an area where managing the trade becomes really important. Okay, we're also a bit overvalued. We have to be patient as well. Look at this. We're there. We're kind of in that resistance now. Okay, so I prefer to let this cool down a little bit as well. Looking at the valuation, coming back and giving us potential entries at around this area. This 43.72 will be beautiful if you can get there. That would be absolutely fantastic. Okay. In terms of the dollar, last thing. The dollar itself, let me see if we have it right there. Yeah, the dollar itself is actually, all right, flatlining right now. We have been like in support. We're getting rejected here from the fair value. The low volume node pretty much after previous week. We're kind of getting rejected. We're below the point of control. And even though it's creeping up, okay, gold does not really care at the moment. And I think we're once again waiting for some major news to come out right now. And that's probably going to be the CPI as well here, right? CPI has to come today. I think after that, we'll have the NFP done, the CPI done, and we have a really good impression, I think, of where we stand within the economy, the US economy from there. And I think that will have a major impact on also the expectations for gold for many investors, etc., etc. What is the name of your broker? We use Vantage, my friend, already for so long right now. If not years. Years and years and years and years right now at the moment. Yes, sir. There we go. I think this one right there. Yes. As it says, beautiful week so far. Let's hope this night doesn't get ugly. Let's see, man. We have some resistance here now. So long here is no option. That's for sure. We knew that. Not now. We have to be a bit patient here. Wait for price to pull back towards... Yeah, I want to see price coming back to the 72 actually. That would be nice. Somewhere around this area. The VWAP is there too. It would be a fantastic level, fantastic range to work with. The point of control there on the Awanda chart, which is very reliable, by the way. I use this a lot. The range itself, the breakout, the retest, and of course respecting the value area of yesterday, or the big balance breakout right there. The range, the breakout, the retest. Okay. And then some sort of double top or double bottom breakout right now, maybe. Okay. Let's see. That Salvin yesterday's Asia was nasty. Yeah, I do agree. But we tapped into daily supply yesterday. That's why. Okay, we tapped into that higher time frame supply zone. And if you didn't see that beforehand, then you have to be very careful because you know that is a higher time frame supply zone. If you are longing, right, and in a long and you reach that, yeah, you do see usually from those type of zones at least a reaction. Okay, now that the reaction has been made, the question is how strong is it gonna be, right? Because for now it doesn't seem that it has enough ammunition to push price further, but let's see. The only way to figure that out if price actually comes and breaks below the low, okay, the range, the previous range itself, right, and turns that into resistance. So you get the very area of this and you turn that into resistance. Yeah, then I think shorting becomes more reliable because I think you have an opportunity to short towards the next range right there, which is quite a big move in general, right? That's like 1,000 pip move to the downside right there. So that is already a much better confirmation for shorts in my opinion. If we can do that, but right now we are not there yet. We are still holding, respecting for this specific session. I think we're still looking for a one-way street until we're invalidated. And then once we're invalidated, we can accept it and then move to the other direction. All right, get into shorts more or into pullbacks deeper. With the right confirmations at least. Let's see. Overall, I like how it's coming down. I like how price is pulling back right now at the moment. I think that's a good thing that we are pulling back a little bit here. There we go. Yeah, a lot of people are looking for the lows, like these lows are not taken out. So this must be the liquidity, etc. And then it needs to be taken out. I personally don't like to look at it this way. Always, it depends on the situation. There are many instances where that doesn't has to happen. Look at here, for example, right? The low gets respected, doesn't get taken out, and you break out to the upside here. All right, it happens a lot. It happened here too, right? Get respected and you break out to the upside. Like it's not really here as well, right? It's not really a must or a necessity. The price always has to take those lows. So I don't really like to say, oh, right, these lows are still open, so I'm not going to take longs. I pretty much would take longs anyways and then manage the trade. And then once in a while, if we hit like a stop loss or something like that, then I usually hope that if I at least hit my stop loss, that price completely flips the other way. And then we can actually then look for the reversal trades as well, which happens also many times before, that we can just do that instead. Especially when you tap into higher time frame supply on the daily, right there, of course. But until then, let's see if buyers are still willing to step in here. Let's see. What is the first level that I would watch? The 73. Yeah. Pretty much the 73. Yeah, yesterday's Asian session was a bit nasty if you look at it right now at the moment. At least the open was pretty good, right? We had a really strong push to the upside right there. It was actually very nice. And a nice breakout. But a huge aggressive dump after this, especially there. Pre-London. That's pretty heavy. Are you bullish or biased today? I just explained it for around 20 minutes. Okay, so please watch that back. However, there is a big difference between, I think, daily bias and session bias. Okay, daily bias, and we talked about this as well with the group. I said, yo, you have a session bias and you have a daily bias. A daily bias is a completely different expectation from a session bias. I can be bullish for the day, but if we reach resistance, daily supply again by the end of the Asian session or London session, yeah, then I might not be bullish for New York, right? So it all depends. And this is why I don't like the terms daily bias, because it's just a bit too one-directional. Okay, especially when you talk about multiple sessions, the Asia, the London, and the New York. So I would say session bias. For the session bias, I would still say I'm bullish right now at the moment. Yeah. I hope we can get to the VWAP. Yeah, I hope we pull back here to the fair value of at least this area. Also from the day itself. Let's see where we are. Already getting respected here. Yeah, I hope we can pull back into the range here. Can we get into this side, inside of this area right there, and just give us a bit of a push? It's getting absorbed very, very strong here. So that's why I'm saying shorting, man. It becomes very, very tricky. Look at that. Not even a pullback. Yeah, we're in the daily very high now at the moment. The current session very high. But it's a bit too aggressive in this example. At least that's what I thought, at least. But because I was, man, look at that. What a reaction, by the way. Look at that. Time for FOMO entries. I would say, look at the rejection now. That's a serious rejection, actually. Nah, let price do its thing, man. Let price come back down a bit. Yeah, we just opened the hourly candle as well, indeed, so. I totally understand the support here about why gold is doing well. I think actually this is a good thing right now. The valuation is dropping. And gold is still pretty much holding up pretty well. So I hope this keeps going. The more convinced I am from this area here. I do actually think that the current day is already a very important area. I do understand totally why we have support here, by the way. I just think it's very tight. The problem is, because we're facing that resistance here, you can see on the futures chart as well. On futures, this is the point of control of yesterday. Okay, look at that, right? We're right there. You can see this red line. I hope you guys can see the red line. If not, I need to help you a little bit here, make it slightly bigger. This is the point of control of yesterday. Okay, right there. The risk to reward is simply too tight. That's the problem. So that's why the pullback is kind of like a necessity, deeper. A little bit more of a retracement inside of the range. And then target the point of control again, like a second time or something like that, and then manage the trade. Because right now we are in resistance too. Don't forget that we're in the higher time frame point of control of the previous day on futures. And that's why. That's why I prefer to utilize the range as well as the zone. But if you break above the highs here, okay, if you break these highs right there is a chance we're just gonna flush. Continue to push flush to the upside. Pretty much squeeze that candle further to the upside right there. Which is of course these highs right here. And a closure above that, but man, I hope to get into trade though today. Because I don't think I would, I'm not sure if I would take the breakout. Maybe I would if you close above it. Yeah, it's already respecting the current daily very high. So it did respect it right here. Also, the amount of resistance it's forming, it's actually amount of volume that's coming, it's actually kind of good right now. Well, it brought that price action out of nothing, usually around 9. So that's right now, the volume comes in. So it's pretty common. Definitely no sells. Like I said before, it just doesn't make, from my perspective, much sense to look for sells right now. Unless we really break below like a range, a big range or something like that. But for now, it does not add up to me personally. And this is a typical pattern that we use at. We find support, we break higher, pull back, range, breakout. That's just the typical bullish structure. And we did close above it now, or almost on the 15th minute. It's very tempting to enter longs here. It is very tempting to just trade that yeah, I'm waiting for this 15-minute closure. If we do close above the point of control of this area of on futures, we might have to be more aggressive. We're not that far away, especially on the 15-minute. We're trying to break above this right now at the moment. If you do manage to break above and close above this, and that shows that we have a lot of momentum to potentially target the value area high of the previous day, which is pretty much the top of that high right there. And how big is that move? I don't know how big that is. It's still, yeah, at least 200 pips, at least. But that closure is going to be key. Because you can see the resistance that we're forming right now at the moment. It's pretty serious, I think. pretty serious resistance right now. So let's see. It's super tempting right now. You get these FOMO vibes here, but I know you have to wait for the closure. FOMO vibes. Yes. No FOMO needed though. Setups come when they come. If there's one thing I learned is that setups come when they come. You can't get every trade. You can chase every trade down. That's for sure. But that closure is going to make a difference. Are you active in Facebook? No, Fugazi. TikTok, Fugazi. Only YouTube, my friend. Only YouTube right now. Okay? In the meantime, a big shout out to my elite. Almost working now with the third group. This is an amazing group of people, by the way. Amazing people. Amazing people. Really love them. They're great. They have a great vibes. They're bringing great vibes to the table. Big shout out to the elite right there. We're going to open very soon, I think, again. At the end of this month, maybe. Maybe beginning of September. For like 20 people. But yeah, that's still at least, almost a month away. "50-minute closure is 5 minutes. Yeah, this is more bullish. To be honest, when looking at the daily today, if I looked at the daily volume profile, we marked out the zone, we tapped into the very high, and we got respected at it. So that was actually, could have ended the long there with aggression. Definitely no sells. Let's see where we are on futures as well here. On futures, we are above the point of control now as well. The very high is sitting right there. The previous daily. That is usually a very good target. Okay? A very good target. You can trade pretty much from here to there with a lot of conviction, especially if you close above this. It is a bit, it's a bit of chasing today, to be honest. But, yeah. This would have been the ultimate buying zone, really. If you could have gotten there, that would be amazing. The risk reward would have been so good, because the entry would have been probably around there, okay? Stop loss would probably be around either there or there, okay? Would have not been that big, and the target would have been around there. That would have been like a 4-to-1. Right there. But yeah, we're gonna probably hit the very high now. Oh my god. Yeah, keep in mind that shorting is just so tricky, guys. If you see the daily supplies and it's so easy to get into short positions here, I get it. But there is a reason why you make these moves up right now at the moment here. Let price proves to you that we're bearish again. Let's take out some of those areas. Okay, we have these two major zones here. Okay, we could easily do something like this, where we just bounce, okay? Or we come back to the next zone and we bounce, right? So give yourself the opportunity to let price develop, to set in a break, a retracement, then look for a short and target the next area here and exit here. Don't try to hold on to it, exit there, right? See how price responds. Look at longs again, because we're still holding, respecting structure after a major breakout, right? Could still do something like this. And then even if price breaks that, then again, it's a freeway runner towards the next big range right there below, okay? But you have to play a little bit right now because we're in a counter trend scenario right now, okay? Even the shorts, keep in mind, you have broken out of a major area of accumulation. Even the shorts now is, in my opinion, a little bit counter, okay? Even though the trend is still quote-unquote bearish, right? We're still breaking. But even the shorts right here, it's a little bit counter now. You're in the middle of major resistance and major support, okay? So keep in mind that anything inside is where you can take longs and shorts. You have to just be very, very precise with your entries and exit. You can't get too greedy and hold on to your trades too long either. The good trades will come. The bigger swing trades will come very soon. I think by the end of this quarter, actually. Well, what's happening? Hello. I'm still live, right? It's not my internet. Yo. Oh, there we go. Okay. I don't know what that was all about. Yeah. Yeah, maybe the daily volume profile today was actually still worth taking. I just thought personally it was just a bit too much, too aggressive. But look at that reaction here. You could see how it got respected again. We broke out of the fair value, retraced, and immediately got back up here. But because we had so much resistance there, the risk reward was not adding up to me because my stop loss had to be somewhere here. And my target was here. But then I had to take profits. It was still not bad, I must say. Like, I mean, it's still a 2-to-1, right? I will probably take something like this and target that. It would still be like a 2-to-1. But it still was a bit too tight because of the fact that this is where we had that major resistance. I hope you guys can see why selling here is tricky here, especially when you're at the bottom right there and you got respected into the previous range. I'll be very careful with selling. So if you are in sales, we're thinking about sales here, then understand why it was very tricky. You have an area of balance. Okay, so you create fair value right there. This is that zone. We respect the fair value. We tap into that right there yesterday. We break out. We respect the low again. We started to range and we then break out. Okay, that's a moment where you don't need to sell. Okay, because we're in balance, imbalance, pullback, respect it. Okay, create a high, lower high, I get that, but also a higher low, consolidation breakout. Then most cases, you're going to target the highs here. And I think that's the target for now, the 4400. It's just going to go without me, I guess. I hope not, but I think it will. I think we're going to get there. What do you think of my trade, Lorenzo? I've been taking this trade from 4372. Is it good? Should I keep holding it? Yeah, you should hold it. Yeah, in my opinion. I mean, manage the trade, right? Clearly manage it correctly. Don't hold on to it no matter what. Yeah, I think the 4400 is a reasonable target. I think we have our 50-minute closure, right? Yes, we have. Okay. All right. That changes a couple things here for the better. That changed a couple things right there. Kind of have to mark out this level 2. Yeah, if there is a long, I would say pull back and just target this and then target the highs here. And indeed, the continuation trade, but the pullback inside of this this level. Or price is gonna leave without us and just gonna reach the 4400. Yeah, too much absorption. Yeah, now looking at this one right there, I'm like, ah, damn, that daily level was very good. Should have got here aggressively. The moment you tap into that immediate stop loss on break even, that could have been a solution. Then the closure above is then the ultimate trade for the target at 4400. I really wanted to see price coming back to the range and reduce this variation a bit down, get to the previous range fair value of that area right there. Just to double my risk reward ratio, but this is what happens sometimes when that actually breaks and never comes back fully or retraces not back towards this area. Sometimes it does and you get the best possible entries, like the best of the best, but in this case you can see what happened. Still watching this though. If we can pull back at the 15 inside of this level, which is still possible, then everything is still open for the 4400. So yeah, let's move this one to the 84s. Where do you find the most resistance? We're still inside of the value area of yesterday, right? So just look at this right now for a second. Let's clean everything up. We're gonna put it back. When we draw the volume profile from yesterday's 6 p.m. candle, open. So from yesterday's open to yesterday's close, right? And then you get like the value high and the value area low. You see that? Where the most volume is traded. You mark out the zone. What did we respect it today? We respected the value area low of yesterday. So the target naturally becomes the value area high right here. See that? It's pretty straightforward actually. If you then break above that, okay, and you close above it strongly, okay, you pull back, then there's a chance that this turns into support right there, okay? And if that turns to support, then usually the target will be the previous daily highs, okay? Which is sitting right there. It's pretty straightforward, right? And then because we have that internal breakout here, okay? We saw the retracement, we broke out internally. I wanted to pull back slightly deeper, target the previous daily very high. Either exit there, but if the breakout would come, hold on to this with the volume, if you break the volume, and pretty much target the previous daily highs. And get back into daily supply, right? But that's kind of the way to look at it. You use the previous daily range, and you trade within the value area low, and then internally you look for the confirmation to the previous daily value area high. That is how you trade a balanced range, a balanced session. Super easy actually. At least for a bias, you know, to have a good bias for the day. That's the most important layer. And it's actually a very, very good way to look at it right there. That's why I'm saying if you guys are interested in that, you can learn about that in my book. Because we talk about that exactly, how to trade the very low to very high. And how to create a good bias for the session, right? What if it broke the low? Even if it broke the low, then there is a chance you pull back immediately into the structure that's bigger. And that is, you know, you could take out the low and then break back inside of this. Again, that's another long confirmation. If you break out of it, you break back into it, you turn into the very low into support, and boom. That is like the strongest confirmation possible. If you take the lows and you break back inside of the value area, you have the best risk reward ratio. You can get into like 4-to-1, 5-to-1 trading setups right there. You could enter there, stop loss below, and target the highs. You could get into like really big trades. Really big trades. Yeah. Because you're dealing with a larger range here, right? And that range is what we respected. But yeah, for now we're dealing the internal. For now we're dealing the range itself, the previous daily high and low, failure high and low. If this is not the one, we have to trade the equilibrium and maybe target the highs. And if then price breaks with volume, we can target the previous daily highs again and go from there. If price does break back below, right, it does coming down, and this is still an option to long, the 73. It is still an option, but then we have to get all the way back down there again. Are your prior day volume profile cash session or only ETH? We just mark it out from 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. New York time, okay? I think the gold is holding up really strong. What do you guys think? Like strong. It's holding up really strong. Like strong. Very strong absorption right now. That's why if we entered indeed at that 78 level, then we would have been set for today's session already, man. Yeah, 78.1. We would have been set. Especially with this closure above. But yeah, sometimes it happens that you have that resistance there and the pullback is just so small. So small. And you just break resistance immediately. You break above this high. Pretty much above this level right there. You break above this. Right here. Lorenzo, do you like the Asian session? I mean, I love the Asian session. The Asian session is great. No Trump tweets. A good amount of volume. I mean, it's decent enough. It's definitely good enough for price to move. Are you in any trades? No, not at the moment. Nope. Nah, we just talked about it. We just talked about what happened there with the lows at the 78, right there. We literally just talked about it. Do you hold longer positions? Yes, I do actually. But on our stream account right there, this is what we call our stream account, our Asian session stream account, right? Where we trade specifically on this account for the streams. It is usually just get what we can get in the session itself. That's pretty much it from that account. What can we get in this session? Can we get in? Can we get out? Can we get into a setup? Thank you. How are you? Good? Yeah, I spent, of course. Thank you. But there's nothing to clean because he already cleaned yesterday.
Yeah, but today we need to clean.
Huh?
But today we need to also clean, yeah?
If you want, but it's like, it's pretty much clean. He pretty much did it already. Yeah, I'm streaming. It's okay. Why don't you give copy trading facility to us? What does that mean? Copy trading facility? Like signals, you mean? I mean, we give signals on the streams all the time, right? All the time. We are literally growing our account together. Or we're growing this account together. That's the whole point of why I'm here. I'm growing this account live in front of you guys. Strictly from the Asian sessions. and nothing else. Just the ASIN sessions, scalps, or whatever it is. Right? We tripled our account in the last 2 months. Okay, a little pullback, all right. Okay. Signals outside of this stream. Ah, okay, okay. You know what? When I like, the reason why I do the streams is also, you know, isn't it just a waste if I would just enter a trade here on live on stream without any explanation of why? Wouldn't that be a complete freaking waste to just enter? You will end up going into a loophole, right? And just like, you wait for my trade, enter, and like no explanation, and it just like, you will like, it's like a drug almost, I guess, like literally. At least what my goal is on this stream, always, when you take trades with me and you see me growing my account with you guys, which is actually just for the sessions, because sometimes I can hold on to my trades much longer, in my opinion, okay? But again, I do believe that the education part is absolutely an absolute necessity for you guys every day, to just, you know, see how we take action, how we look at setups, how we create our, most importantly, our bias for the session. Okay, why I'm long, why I'm short for the session, right? Or when I'm neutral, whatever. But I think the education part is just so important. And yes, you know, of course we take trades live. We have to. There's no other way. But it has to come with a package. It has to come with things around it. Okay? Are you Dutch? Because you sound like the Anua brothers. Yes. We share similar accents. Correct. You recognize a Dutch guy from like miles away. Okay, the pullback is real though. We are definitely pushing. Into the VWAP. Okay, we're almost there now. So close. So close to the point control here. Don't tell me you're going to flip this now. Oh my God, I would go crazy today. Wow. Oh my God. I have those days sometimes, guys, where it just probably does not get to my levels. It does not even pull back to it, or it gets so close. But you guys don't. You guys know I don't FOMO. You know, I don't teach myself those bad habits, because I know that if I do that once, or I do that twice and it works, I actually reward myself for not listening to myself. I'm actually just, I would pretty much rewarding myself from doing the wrong thing in the long term, because I know in the long term it's not correct, right? I know that. So teaching myself bad habits is what I'm trying to avoid. Still annoying though. Do you trade evals a bit more open? I don't trade chat. I'm not really doing a lot of funded accounts, to be honest. But if I would do that, I don't think I need it, to be honest. I don't think I need to trade it more open, because I don't think that my strategy is wrong. I think my strategy is very good, actually. So I would just do the same thing as I do now. Because it works. It works for me, you know? So why change something that works, right? But still, sometimes you see that the price just gets absorbed, or you can be a bit more aggressive around this area. This was actually a level where I would say, okay, the 78, but then with very, very tight management here. Okay. But when you see that breakout, yeah, you know you're in for the right levels. Please explain your strategy in bullet points. Okay, let me do this for you, okay? Higher time frame supply in a month. Macro context. Number one, always important, right? Dollar versus gold. Okay? Or dollar versus oil. Or gold versus oil, whatever the case may be. Higher time frame supply in a month. Alright? Super key. Larger time frame accumulation distribution, lower time frame volume analysis. Boom. Easy. Fair value area. Easy. Previous day, swing, this, that, super easy. Okay? And yeah, entry confirmations, right? And then there are other things you can use, like order flow. You can use, you know, the valuation index for the best setups. Yesterday was a perfect example where you tapped into the value area and you had the undervaluation. This is why this was such a good entry at the bottom. Very, very good entry. I think many guys in the group took it yesterday as well here. They took that long trade right there perfectly. Yeah, many guys took it. Oh, this was already later. Was this already later? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, right here. Was a really, really good example. Super clean. But yeah, that is pretty much the level. The confirmation here, okay? And the higher time frame supply in a month and the lower time frame volume analysis, in my opinion, is the golden combination. If used correctly. If used correctly. All right, this is what the gold hybrid trading system does, and it's optimized for gold. I have not tested it on anything else besides gold, so I don't know if it works on the NQ, for example. I think it would. I think it will work. It seems logical to me, but I haven't tested it. I can't confirm it. Okay, but I know with gold, it does what it has to do. What is the bias for today? We're bullish until proven otherwise. Yeah? We're bullish until proven otherwise. We have this, the resistance right there at 4,400. That is the level to watch for sure. If that level gets taken out, honestly, I do think that you'll find the next resistance at the 4,420. And then, of course, immediately at the previous daily highs. These are your zones. That is a level to watch. That is a level to watch. And that is a level to watch. Why this level? Low volume note there. This is where I wanted to enter from. We pulled back into the very area of today. That was already respected. So actually, that was actually a good setup. Now we're looking at any pullback setup for any pullback here to look for a long again. But every time we get to our level almost, we get observed and we flip already. Right, we're already flip bullish. Cisse says you must love gold because it moves in every session. I mean, who doesn't love gold? Gold is like, you either love it or you hate it. Okay? You either love it or you hate it. You love it or you hate it. I think that we love it. What do you guys think? I think that we love it. I think that gold is amazing if you know how to trade it. And if you're familiar with it, if you have a relationship with it, if you know the history of it, because it has its own unique tendencies. Okay, let's see what happens here. If you reach the 4,400, I think the target is going to be met. The only thing that I can say from that moment onwards is that if this happens, and we reach the target right there, and we see a rejection. Shorting is for me a no-go, even though this could be a resistance level where price would come back into. But if you do break out of this area, I mean, the next logical move is just to target the highs again. Because you break above the very high of yesterday. There's no reason not to potentially revisit daily supply again. Higher time frame supply, which is actually sitting right there. You see that daily candle is already bullish. The wick is there. Okay, there is a big chance that with this trend that we're seeing right now, right, that price is just going to try to move deeper into the daily supply zone. Right here, the drop, base, drop, huge expansion, right? Rejection there, that we're trying to revisit that level again, the daily supply zone again, okay? So that will be another alternative for the next session, the next London session or whatever. If price is willing to give us an insight in that breakout. But for the Asian session today, the 4,400 is like the target. So either we pull back and we still can get there. Or, yeah, you have to wait for that to break out and close above. And then you pull back into the current daily right there. And then we'll pull back and look for something like that. You mark out the current day. You wait for price to close above the very high of the previous day. At 4,400, you close above this. And then you wait for a wick to be created inside of the 96, something like that. And you look for the continuation. But I'm very impressed right now how strong gold is holding up for this session. And I actually anticipated a little bit more pullback. A bit more pullback behavior than we have seen today. So I hope we can get back down at least towards what we just talked about. But if we reach the 4,400, I'm afraid that the target is already met. For me, the most annoying sessions are the sessions where you see everything making sense, but entries are not getting triggered. Why do you love gold so much? I love gold because it has short-term potential every day. Okay, it has like lower time frame. It's easy to scalp gold if you know how to do it, how to scalp it correctly. But it's also amazing to swing gold if you are patient enough and you have the right levels in mind. Okay. And you're gonna get into situations now if gold reverses completely and it starts breaking higher and you pull back, that you can get into really, really good setups, long-term setups that you can hold on for a couple days, a couple weeks, maybe even a couple months. Okay, so gold has the potential of being very good for long-term swing trades, but also for scalps if you use it correctly, and especially the combination of that, the combination of scalping and swing trading is very powerful. Yeah, and that's in my opinion the best way to trade gold here, is to have a swing trading account, an account where you just hold on trades longer. You learn how to do that because you want to learn this in advance. It's something that you just need to know. Okay, and then on the side, trade like a specific session you like to trade instead of every session all the time. Focus on a specific session, learn that session. Okay. And then move over to the next session if you want to trade more sessions. Because every session moves differently. Why does every session move differently? The reason why is simple. Because the fact that when the Asian session hits, the daily candle has just opened up. Okay, the daily candle is only around 3 hours old, 2 hours old, 3 hours before the Asian session opens up, right? When the New York session hits, the candle of the day is already open for around, if I'm not mistaken, 13 hours, 14 hours, okay? It's already developed for 14 hours. So you have to take a complete different approach to trading New York as you trade Asian session, okay? So don't only look at structure and things like that. Understand that the way you trade Asia is different from the way you trade New York, and you need to learn how to trade it independently first. And don't treat it the same way, okay? Because this is why I don't like the term daily bias. Because if you are quote unquote bullish for the day, and you say, okay, I'm bullish bias for the day, do you mean I'm bullish bias for the whole day, or I am bullish for the session? Because that's a big difference. If you're bullish for the day, then you expect every session to be bullish, right? But it could be that Asia is going to go up, London is going to go up, we reach daily supply, and now we're in New York session. And now we're in daily resistance, higher time frame, daily supply zone. Am I still going to be bullish for the New York session? Maybe not, right? Maybe I have to be patient. Maybe I have to wait for a retracement. Maybe I can look for some sort of manipulation down. What do you need to see the order flow? Yeah, you can actually see it. All the sellers here are currently getting absorbed. Okay? All the sellers that you see right now at the moment are all getting cooked pretty much. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, you see how close we were to the 84s? Man. Totally, I'm totally missing out today on two setups. One I think was very reasonable. This one was a bit. The 84 was definitely not the confirmation. The 72 was actually good. Previous daily or the daily very high. The session of the very high at that time. The risk reward was still reasonable, right there below. Risk reward was still good. Target 4400. Gains algo V2 alpha indicator is fake or real? I have no idea what it is, bro. Sorry, I have no idea what that indicator is. Is it real? Is it fake? I don't know. I don't know. Indicators are indicators, right? We only have one. Maybe two with the VWAP. But I would not really call the VWAP an indicator. I mean, it is an indicator, actually. It is an indicator. Yeah, what is the target? 4,400. Look at already how we're pushing into this. Crow, have a good day, everyone. Watch the move go without us for 2 hours. I hope you learned something, Dan, in terms of bias. I hope you learned that. I think we helped a lot of people today avoid shorting the market. Are you trading the US session here tomorrow? No, for now, just the Asia sessions. Yeah. For now, the Asia sessions. I really love the Asia sessions at the moment here. The New York sessions come. I'm thinking about doing something privately. New York. Already working with the elite. Going through the sessions with them first right now. Teaching them the whole process, the whole system. And they've been doing, I must say, very well. Okay, they have been very transparent over their results and everything. Also, their moments when they have amazing winning streaks, and then also when they start to, get to some hard times as well, which is normal if you learn a new system, a new strategy. But I can see the big improvements already. It's amazing to see that so quickly. If you are completely new to the Divine profile, my suggestion is to just watch my videos on Telegram. I have 3 of them. Number 3, number 2, and number 1. Watch those videos. They're private videos. That should help you so much already to lay like a good foundation. And then you don't have to just rely on me, right? Always, I think. If you work on that, because it's pretty much the same thing that I'm telling you already now. There are a couple things, of course, more that I don't talk about. Supply and demand, order flow. There are a lot of things that come in the gold hybrid trading system that turns it into like a very profitable system. But to set for you a good foundation with the volume profile, I think is already a really good framework to begin with. Derek Legacy says, I've backtested your system. And one thing I must salute you for is the entries. Very strict, and they have to tick a number of boxes. Yes. That is correct. That is correct, yeah. What is the biggest issue for most traders? I think the most traders struggle in ranges like these, in ranging markets. I think that's where most people struggle. But this is where we have tripled our account on stream, live, pretty much, in the range. Right? So for us, the ranges is actually, for me, trading ranges is I love trading ranges. I love trading ranges. Personally, okay? Usually for people making money in like the trend is kind of easy. But the problem is that at the moment the market starts to struggle and it goes from like a trend to like a range, they lose their money again. And you only need one big mistake. One mistake, and you remove all the money that you made in the trend can be blown up, can be lost in like a range, in a ranging condition. And the core strength is to be able to be really adaptable quickly. Because the best traders that I know, guys that are, you know, so much more experienced than me, for example, they just know how to just adapt quick. Market condition, expectations of the market. And there's one thing that they all have in common that I know, and they all use volume. They all use the volume profile. Yeah. Okay, if you reach the 4,400, I'm unfortunately afraid that this specific session will not be a trading session. But I will be able to give you then all the analysis and all the conditions for the next hours. I'm still kind of hoping for a little bit of a pullback now. And wait for that to happen. At least get back down to the 84, like I wanted to get to. Trade OP says, I'm stuck in a short from 43.50. Please suggest. Ooh. Aye. Wait what happens at the very high right now. Don't close it. I mean, you know, you could see a rejection now, right? We could see the rejection at the very high of yesterday. So if you are getting rejected here and you pull back, you have an opportunity to close your trade. If you close above the very high, I will be very careful because I think that's just gonna set yourself up for more drawdown. Okay? So I will be very, very aware of what happens around the 4,400 and pay a lot of attention to what happens there. Because if you close above this, expect more drawdown. Price already tapped into the POC. It did not actually. Yeah, it did, but it did not. It actually kind of did, right? It came close. It came close. It didn't tap into it, but yeah. You could see this as a retracement needed for price to continue to go higher. So yeah, the chances of price pulling back, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Is this your only trading account? No. No, we have multiple accounts, but we use one account strictly for the live streams. Because it's something that I can then showcase on stream as trades taken on stream only. and not trades taken outside of it. And I think it helps a lot more for like transparency reasons as well. I think it's just great for you to see. So that's why. And how cool is it if you grow a 5K account to a 100K account, for example, right? Live. How cool would that be? Then no one can tell us shit. That's for sure. And it's totally possible, by the way. Do you copy trade to all your other accounts? If so, what software do you use? I don't actually. But I could do that in essence. When will you increase your lot size? For now, it's okay. We're still at 1 lot. I think it's completely fine. Because I was kind of aggressive at the beginning. We will be increasing it though later. At the 30K, I think. The $30,000 will be increasing the lots. The lot size. Yeah. Yeah, so the bias was very clear, but somehow, for some freaking reason, I couldn't get into any trades, and sometimes it just happens, man. I wait for a level, and that level doesn't get hit, and it respects it, and then it already goes, and you're like, ah, shit, yeah, could have been this one too, and you realize it later. This was the example there. It was very obvious, actually. But the risk word would have been, we had to manage the trade very aggressive, because even though we were here, I had to put my stops on break even very quickly. Already at like 60 pips. And then if it would break out, then you're in an amazing position right there, as you can see. This one right there, this pullback was just simply not the one that we were looking for. It was just not, it was way too aggressive. So I'm not really bothered about that one, to be honest. Sure, can I ask you, is that your real account or pop? Is it for, if it's 14K, what is your lot size? It's not 14K, it's profit 14K. It's 21 now. And it's a real count, and I would not take the same amount of risk as I take, I guess, on a proper count. I would not take the same risk. I would reduce your risk on a proper count, because you don't have 10K on a proper count, right? When people say that you have $10,000, a funded account of $10,000, you don't have $10,000. You have $1,000. Okay? Why? Because your maximum daily loss or your maximum drawdown is like, let's say 10%. Do you then have $10,000 or do you have $1,000? In most cases, you simply just have $1,000, right? That's it. You have $1,000 and that's it. Nothing else. Okay? Because you can only allow to lose 1,000. Not 10,000. So that's the trick these prop firms make with you. Like, don't fall for that trap. It's the biggest trap in the prop firm industry. It's making you believe you have more than you actually have. And that's why it sounds so fantastic, right? Oh, I have a 100K funded account. Well, actually, no. You have a 10K account. Why? Because your maximum loss is $10,000 and you're out. You're gone. You're cooked. You lost your account. But because you feel that you have more, you feel that you have 100,000, what are you going to do? You're going to risk like you have 100,000. And that is the trap people fall for. Because risking like a smaller percentage on a $10,000 account is way smaller. It feels way smaller than on a $100,000 account, right? So they allow you to make your trades feel very tiny in comparison to the account size. And that is the ultimate trick, because this is how people over risk and go in hard. And then, you know, you're simply the market against you, because only one mistake and you're out. You're toast. And that's how it works, right? So if you trade prop firms and you trade funded account challenges, then understand that if you want to pass the challenge quickly, you can be aggressive. But once you are funded, only trade with the account size of the drawdown you have and nothing else. Okay? Yeah, I think we're going to reach the target today, guys, to be honest. Okay, so, you know, clearly we were bullish. Okay, we kind of know what happened here when we retraced into this area. I wanted to retrace into the VWAP, into the previous structure of the range. We didn't do that. We respected the daily very high. We broke out. Okay, and we're going to target the previous daily very high right now at 4,400. So I'm just going to do my analysis here. I'm going to show you what I'm going to look at, okay? Because this is definitely something that I think is extremely important. Number one, we're going to face a lot of resistance here. Okay, this is going to be a fact. We're going to face a lot of resistance at the 4,400. Okay, so if we come up a bit, we might come up here. We're going to face a lot of resistance there. So what needs to happen first? If you want to look for long continuations, two things need to happen. Either price needs to break above strongly, not weak, okay? Not a little breakout with low volume and like it starts to creep up and you have a small closure. That is not a breakout. It needs to break. It needs to squeeze and close. Closures are key, okay? Wicks don't matter. It's about the candle closure itself. Wicks are nothing more than are meant to trap you, right? If the candle shoots up but it closes bearish, you're pretty much fucked, okay? At the top. So what you're trying to do is you wait for closures, because it usually allows you to understand really who is in control, right? Is the absorption real, etc. In the order flow, you would definitely already see if buyers are still in control or not, but that's a different topic. For you, if you don't have order flow, right, wait for a strong closure. Then you can consider the pullback inside of the value area of yesterday. And if that gets respect, then you see strong bottom wicks getting formed, okay? A strong bottom wick with a candle like that, all right? You can go long and you can target, in my opinion, the previous highs, the previous daily highs, okay? With, of course, some profit taking at the 20s in between here. I think that would set a condition where you break out the previous daily value area where yesterday in the volume profile, the most volume has been traded. You leave fair value of yesterday and you break out and you look for the continuation to the previous daily highs. It's very reasonable that would happen, but the only way that would happen if we close aggressive, strong with volume. Okay, you need to close aggressively, because now you're gonna find resistance here. We're gonna find resistance in this area. Okay, so if we are gonna find resistance here, what about shorting? Yeah, this is where it gets tricky. Okay, this is where things get tricky, because keep in mind, on the higher time frame right now at the moment, we are respecting the previous range. Okay, this is pretty much what you're seeing on the 4-hour time frame right now. If you see the range right here, right, look at how we're holding up here. Okay, range breakout, okay? pullback, respecting it. Shorting here, look at that. It's very tricky. Be careful with that, okay? The chances that we will squeeze to take out the previous daily highs here is so much bigger in my opinion. Tapping deeper into the daily supply zone, then looking to short there. If I would short, I would simply be super ultra patient for price to break below, show weakness, pull back, find resistance, and then I will target the next range right there. And that is my window. That is my short window, okay? And that is still gonna be, I don't know, a 500, 700, 800 pip move to the downside right there. That is a confirmation that I would really be comfortable with trading. If I would be looking to short the market, until then, I would be very careful with shorting because, yes, it could reject here. Okay, we can get rejected right now at the current moment. We could see something like that happening, okay? We could see that, you know, we are now breaking the very high and we're gonna get rejected exactly where we are here. And we could see the retracement and you could try to scalp it down, but I think the market is a bit of against us if you would look for shorts right there. So either break out strong, pullback and targeting previous daily highs, or staying out of the market and let price come back higher and see what happens inside of daily supply again. Maybe we formulate like a range or something like that if you do get there, right? We formulate a range and then we do something like this, where we manipulate up and we break down aggressively. Maybe we can look for a push down from that moment onwards and then look for a sell, for example, right? That's a moment where I would say, okay, I would be comfortable with selling, but we need to find a range. We need to see some sort of rejection or whatever, okay? So there are two selling scenarios in the midterm, but in the short term, it's either longs or nothing. I hope that makes sense. There is still room, okay, to get towards these highs here, but really wait for that strong breakout and closure above. What happens if price just pulls back right now? I still think that with what we currently are dealing with, is that I still believe that, let me see if I can have this for you guys right now. If we mark out the daily. Yeah, we have the 84. The 84 is still the level that I would look for a long at. Okay, if you pull back to the 84,000 and then look for the continuation down. Unfortunately, I see price today. I saw what happened today. I knew we should be looking for buys. Sometimes when I follow my strategy and rules and it doesn't come back to my point of interest and it just gets absorbed earlier and it goes, then it is what it is. It's gonna happen, but the last thing that I'm gonna do is teach myself bad habits and FOMO in. Because if I teach myself to FOMO into trades, I'm gonna get burned so hard and it's gonna reduce or remove all the wins, all the profits that I made beforehand. So these are just some of the rules that I have to follow here. But a confirmation simply does not mean this, okay? It means a strong breakout above and then a pullback. Oh, that makes sense, my friends, okay? Oh, that makes sense. Let me see what the chat is saying here. In the meantime, what I want to do here is I want to give away access to the self-valuation index today to a couple guys in the chat. We have not been using it right now at the moment here, okay? And I'll tell you why. The main reason is because we are trending up on the intraday, okay? So we're trending upwards on the intraday. The best setups right now are going to be the undervaluations. There are by default the best setups. Look at that. Undervalued, buy. Undervalued, buy. Undervalued, buy. Beautiful still. Red, undervaluation, buy. Right? There are a lot of really good confirmation in the undervaluation in this move. The tops right now are just simple ranges or short-term pullbacks, but nothing more than that. Okay. So I want to give access to this tool right here. If you are on the live streams on a regular basis, then you will be able to use this. And you will be able to use it with me, because I will be using it a lot over the next coming weeks, days, months ahead of us right now. It depends a little bit on the session, but it also depends on the dollar. okay? Because right now the dollar, I think, is setting up and is simply waiting for the CPI. Okay, we're waiting for the CPI to come to fruition right here. CPI is coming, okay? Today, New York session will be so important for today's, for the overall understanding of what the dollar wants to do here. Will be so freaking important, okay? So yeah, with that in mind, when the dollar is in that indecision or indecisive stage, the valuation is something that we kind of put on the side as a second opinion, not as a primary indication for entries. But after the CPI, you will see this gets back to normal immediately. Okay? So anyways, let me look at the indicators right now. Go to invite only, go to the self-valuation index, add this, manage access, and add some new guys in the chat here. So drop your TradingView username. I'm gonna pick around 5 people today. And give them access for free, lifetime access to this indicator. I don't sell it. I don't sell it. You either need to be in our group or you need to win it in the giveaway. But the group is closed right now, already for a month. So giveaways only. Let's see what we have here. Wow, that's quick. Vasuna Karna. Vasuna Karna. Vasuna? Vasusena. Sorry, Vasu. Sometimes I'm a bit dyslexic. Vasusena Karna. There you go. You got it. Him Lam. Oh, I saw you, my friend. Where are you? Let's find it now. Oh, there we go. Himlam 77227. Himlam 723. All right, nice. Congratulations, my friend. Lord Snow. Boom. Lord Snow 22. Okay, got you. Derek Legacy DC. There we go. Oh, you already got it. This user has already been granted access. So you already had it, my friend. You want it already. You should have it. Okay? You should have it. 3 more. Isabella. No, why? Why she doesn't have it yet? Yo, I can't find it though. All right, send it later. Anyone else? Regular. Greeny Shadow. Sergio. Congratulations, Sergio, my man. Oh, Greeny Shadow. Congratulations, my G. You got it. We're gonna explain. We're gonna talk about it in the next stream after the CPI. Okay. After the CPI, one more trade float. This is already more than 5, by the way. But anyways, fuck it. Yes, and then one more. Last one. Last one. Last one. Last one. Coffee guy. Okay. That stood out. Sorry. That stood out. All right. Perfect, guys. Okay. I think you guys know what we're looking for and why. Okay. Keep a close eye on the breakout here. I mean, this is not looking weak at all. Like I said before, I saw that already earlier. Unfortunately, I'm not happy that I didn't take the trade right there at the bottom. This was definitely a valuable execution. This retracement later on, I don't really care about the retracement. That didn't tap into our entry, etc. But I hope it makes sense why there is still more potential for gold to drive higher and why shorting here is just so tricky, man. Be careful with shorting, guys, really. Let price prove to you that shorting becomes relevant. Okay, you tap into higher time for resistance, you create some sort of range first, and you break and you leave fair value, right? Do something like that, or wait for price to break below the previous range, break structure, test the point of control of the range, right? And sell off right there and look for shorts right there. There's so many better options than trying to predict the shorts right now. Let price develop. I know we're in higher time for resistance, but that is not a reason to short yet. Okay? There's not a reason to short yet. There is a lot of support, a lot of absorption. Buyers are definitely still winning the battle right now. Sellers are still struggling to keep price or push price down here. We're above the VWAP. Sellers are getting absorbed. There's a lot more upside potential towards the previous daily highs right now, in my opinion. Okay, so be aware of that. Be aware of that. Okay, I'm gonna come back tomorrow again. A bit earlier tomorrow at 8:15 sharp. So be there. I'm gonna be there 8:15 sharp. Yeah, I mean, anyways, man. You know what happened today? I'll take that for granted, but I have to be sharp. I have to follow my rules. But again, I hope I was able to get you off of the sells this session. Get you out of the selling mindset. Okay? And I hope you learned something. How to draw the volume profile. And if not, one more promo. Telegram, okay? Watch my 3 videos right now at the moment. Lesson 3, Lesson 2, and Lesson 1. And come back to the live streams tomorrow. And you are fully updated in how we look at the market. So you don't have any questions anymore about the volume profile and how to mark it out and where and why. And the point of interest and entries, etc. That should help. Private videos, you don't find them on my YouTube publicly. You can find them through my Telegram or via my Telegram. And I'll see you there. Okay? Much love, guys. Wish you an amazing rest of your session here. And at some point in time, I will be trading New York as well. Yeah, I will be taking New York back also. So we'll talk about that later. How we're going to do that, when we're going to do that, and how we're going to take care of that. But yeah, New York will be another additional session that we might be implementing as well here. Okay? All right. Much love, my friends. Much love. Where's that song? Okay. Perfect, guys. Much love. I'm going to see you tomorrow. Much love, my friends. See you, Heidi. See you, Heidi. Good to see you. I always love your support, by the way. Heidi or Heidcast. Love your support, by the way. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Dita, my friend. Dire Straits. Have a great day, man. Enjoy. See you later. Take care. Much love. I look forward to see you later. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.